Marvel has definitely made a good decision to re-release Future Imperfect. Just recently, it's back in shops and it's only part one, half of this long series. Freaking incredible. I don't know how I slept on this for this long. Here's the new cover. I really like the old one a little bit better here. Of course, this is Future Imperfect, written by Peter David, art by George Perez, colors by Tom Smith. And let me say I love this. I love this. There's so many aspects to it. This is a story unfolding with so many questions during the story that are revealed naturally. And, I mean, big reveals, and the kind of stuff that just makes it... pushes it out at you right in front of your face, and you can't help but be glued into this storyline because of the storytelling techniques. So a really cool thing, in this re-release, Ralph Macchio kind of wrote an intro about what he felt about the book. He says, he's talking about Peter David. He said, one of David's more notable variations on the id theme is Joe Fixit, a gray-skinned version of the Hulk who's actually a Las Vegas crime lord, complete with suit, jacket, and tie. David has taken us far away from the original Stan Lee, Jack Kirby version, who only emerged from Bruce Banner at night and just wanted to be left alone among the steppes of the New Mexican desert. And that brings us to the Maestro. Yet another in the many incarnations of Hulk, sporting a graying beard, horned headdress, and a royal cloak. Wow. Here is a being who created a city out of the ruins of an atomic war, a war he points out was brought about by a so-called advanced humanity. The Maestro makes a compelling case to his younger version that until he lives through the near century of time that will lead to the Maestro's creation, it's woefully unfair to judge him. While humankind hounded the Hulk, called him a monster, he wasn't the one who brought about the end of civilization, nor was it an alien attack. Puny human. It was the Maestro who built the city of dystopia and saved the remnants of humanity from possible extinction. True, he lords over them from his emerald castle, but the Maestro considers that acceptable payback for humanity's decades of attack on him. Turnabout is fair play, as the saying goes. I really like those words from Macchio. And, it kind of reminds me of you become kind of endeared to Maestro. Just like all of the villains that you feel sympathy, empathy for their plight. When things are written really well, it always seems that you care about these characters who inherently have become evil at their core, but you have to have that empathy for them. And great writers, they bring that out, just like Peter David does in this story. Just a little bit further, I'm not going to read all of this, but I want to read this last part. David tapped into a fascinating conceit, encountering one's future self and all the ramifications that go with it. How could you defeat a version of yourself that already knows every move you're going to make, every tactic and strategy you'll employ? This is the dilemma of our present-day Hulk faces in confronting the malevolent Maestro. It's truly rare that the Hulk is the underdog in any physical conflict, but he decidedly is here, and you true believers are in for a real treat when you see how he copes with it. The Hulk is forced to look into a mirror in Future Imperfect and see what he could become given the proper circumstances. Ultimately, he is a survivor as his malignant future self. The present-day Hulk who inhabits this story isn't the dim-witted, monosyllabic beast who we're familiar. No, this green-skinned Goliath is highly intelligent and fully capable of grasping the dangerous reality into which he's been plunged. What brought him to this almost 100-year future, and who wanted him there, are revelations I won't spoil for you. They are all part of this wondrous tapestry woven by a master scrivener, Peter David, who understands what motivates the Hulk as well as any writer in our business. I agree with all of that. That's absolutely a great summary of what you'll get here. And, just a little bit about the art by George Perez, I'm saying this is absolutely incredible. stuff. When it comes down to it, it's hard to really set the stage and the scenery of what kind of world. He does a masterful job here. This is the kind of classic art that, in so many ways is kind of missing from what we have now. Don't get me wrong, there are some beautiful modern artists, but this kind of stage setting techniques that he goes through here, this kind of detail to the situational perspective of this is dystopia, he does a masterful job of really creating that. The colors are bright like you would expect from a lot of the 90s comics. It shows the sky in a purple kind of dark world, and of course it's, because of the whole entire atomic war, it's kind of what has created the Maestro himself, made him into who he is. And when I say Maestro, I guess I mean the Hulk, of his future self. Again, this is definitely a recommend, and it's a little bit long. We're looking at upwards of 100 pages of this first half, and then, of course, the second half is going to be released later. Like I said, I'm really thinking about trying to find these floppies, or trying to find the old released version of this before it's released from Marvel. Again, definitely a recommend. When it comes down to it, a lot of these classics I've loved, and I do like a lot of modern stories as well when it comes to comics. So I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, look, the 90s are where it's at only, that's all I dig, that's all I'll look at. I like a lot of the new stuff. I'm having a little bit of a hard time with some of the Dawn of X stories. They're not really pushing me forward like I want to, so I'm going back to some of the Claremont stuff and reading it as well. So I'll probably do a few perspectives and retrospectives of those old Claremont books too, because those are the ones that really captivated me when it comes down to it. What do you think? Have you read Future Imperfect? Don't spoil this for anyone. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but the Hulk, he just like Macchio was saying, he is absolutely an intelligent creature, and there's a reason for that. And you find out through this, you definitively find out why he has that intellect, and it's a really cool reveal, I'm telling you. Everything about this story is really good in the sense that all of the secrets, all of the questions that you have, they're answered throughout. There was this one part, I'll just show you, usually dystopia happens for a reason, and this isn't a huge reveal, I'm not making a huge spoiler, but this one page right here, when it came up, my heart sank, I got the chills. It was just so dark, seeing all of these remnants from past heroes, looking at Thor's hammer on the ground, and Cap's shield, and all of these things showing everyone's dead. All of the heroes are dead. Hulk becomes the only one who's capable of stopping this dystopia from being what it is, if possible. It's up to him. So, like I said, I'm not going to tell you what happens. I'm not going to tell you what happens at the end of this. This is one of those slow reveals, and it's really worth your time checking out. Specifically, if you like those 90s comics a lot, I'll tell you, this is for you. Just incredible writing by Peter David, fantastic art by George Perez. These colors really pop out by Tom Smith. So, like I always say, this is absolutely available at your local comic shop. Go in and check it out. Pick up a couple other books while you're there. Hey, if you only like these older books, there are tons of books for you. If you only like modern books, there are tons of books for you. There are literally comics for everyone. And that's awesome.